Hello there folks and welcome back to the FM21 series Conquering the Euro. Today we begin Season 4 of the series, so you will find out our transfer dealings in the 2025 transfer market, is it now? Bloody hell. Time goes very quickly in Football Manager, but today we'll obviously show you those transfer dealings and see the first two games of the season for the second time in 3 years. We've been drawn away at AS Monaco in the first game of the season, so it's going to be a tough one, and then we go home to play Toulouse. Now, a very interesting thing, which just shows you how this could be an interesting season once again. First game of the season was last night. It was FC Nantes against PSG, and PSG lost. So PSG aren't going to go unbeaten this year. I suppose Nantes could, but for those of you who didn't tune in last season, it was actually AS Saint Etienne who went and surprised all of the league, beat PSG, Marseille and Lyon, who all ended the season up on 77 points. And unbelievably, we again missed out on Europe by 1 point. We missed out on Europe by 1 point the season before to last year's title winners. So maybe this year it might be Dijon who go and win the title. But we've got some new names in the league. We've got LB Chateauroux. We've also got, let's see if I can figure out who this is. We've got Chamois Niotar. Bordeaux stayed up in the end. And going down to League 2. Reims went down. Montpellier, I think, must have gone down. Yep, they have. So a few interesting bits and pieces that have happened between seasons. But looking at the first two games, Monaco's going to be a toughie, and then Toulouse won't be too bad. But we've got a tricky start. We've then got Lyon, Dijon and PSG. So if things don't go very well, we could quite easily walk out of these first 5 games with 2 or 3 points. But let's have a look at how we've got on over the summer. All our friendlies have been quite good. We went on a training camp to China, and as you can see, performed quite well. But friendlies are never really representative of what's going to happen. So let's have a look at the transfers then. Now, I did say at the back end of last year we'd go and spend big on a striker. We haven't spent big on a striker, but I really think we've got some value for money. So the back end of last year, before we got to July, the only thing that happened that you won't be able to see on the screen is something that I'm really frustrated over. But the player wants to go, and that's Ryan Sessegnon. He's gone to Celtic. He was one of our best performers last year, and the reason he left is because in his contract we said we'd play him as a winger on the left wing. I didn't think he'd be bothered about that, but he settled in quite well to the left back position. And over the summer, he wasn't happy that we hadn't played him at left wing. He kicked off, and he wants to leave, and I couldn't do anything about that. Celtic came with a bid of 6.25 million, and after only 1 season at the club, Sessegnon's gone, which is a real shame because he's been a top player, 25 years of age, plenty of time to improve, and a player that we could have used for the next 5 or 10 years. But alas, he's gone. We've made a good amount of money on him. He came in for free, and we've sold him for 6 million. So that's the only positive about that, but that's really disappointing. In terms of the outs then for this year, you can see there's been 6 million's worth of sales. And to be honest, there's a few players gone out on free transfers. The most significant probably is Maxime Dupe, who's gone to Sporting in Portugal, our backup goalkeeper. We'll talk about who we've bought in to replace him in a minute. But again, another few loans. The only big sale was Matthias Reese. He went to Sampdoria for 6 million. Again, he's a player that's just not going to get played. Only had 5 games for us last year. Sure, had an average rating of 7.1, but really he's only a backup. If you're going to get 6 million at least level for a backup, you might as well take it. You can see, it's not brilliant, is it? We've only spent 4 million. And that is brutally because I didn't really see the point of signing anyone. I couldn't see anybody massive who was going to be that decent in the transfer market. And we'll go through the players now. We'll start, I guess, with the most expensive of these. And this is the new striker. And I think we've got a real good deal here for Brian Angulo, the Ecuadorian, 29 years of age. So age maybe not on his side. But look at those star ratings. 4 stars. He's best on the left wing, but we're going to use him as a poacher up front. That's what he wants to do. We said in his contract he was going to be playing as a poacher. 15 finishing, 14 composure, 11 acceleration, 16 off the ball, 14 technique. We compare him to Terem Mofi, our second choice striker. You can see, okay, Mofi's better in some aspects, but in technicals, attacking, Angulo is a really solid player. And again, we only paid £3 million for him. So, really, it's not the biggest in the world, is it? But I think he'll be a really good player for us. He's proved in the Mexican leagues he can turn on the style. In the last 5 years, he's got over 10 goals. And hopefully he can do that for us this year because we were really lacking a top striker last year. We've also brought in Nuno Azevedo. Azevedo, that's correct. Portuguese player from CS Martimo from the first Portuguese league. 17 years of age. Again, another very good youngster. Got some very good attributes here. 20 determination, strikes out straight away. 16 balance. could be a good striker for the future. And then our last paid-for signing was a replacement for Maxime Dupe. Jack Butland, a lot of you interested in English football will know Jack Butland. He's been at Crystal Palace since 2021, I suppose. No, 2020, he signed there, didn't he, in the summer. And he had a full season, actually, in the Championship for Palace. But again, he's going to be a backup goalkeeper. We needed somebody to come into the club, and Butland was on the transfer list, and he was as good as anyone. We're going to pay him $15,000 a week on a three-year contract. Might seem a bit much, but yeah, he's a solid backup goalkeeper, so I'm happy with that. We've also signed Laurentio Sabu, a Romanian from FCCB, from the Romanian leagues. We've actually upgraded our scouting system now, so that we have a worldwide package. And again, the scouts went to Romania, said this is someone you want to sign. Free transfer, young prospect, 20 years of age. He's gone out on loan to Romania again this year to see if he can prove what he's made of. And maybe next year he could come into the first team. We've also signed Joan Jardi, 23 years old, from Barcelona. As you can see, he's listed for loan as well. Again, a player that played in the B team for Barcelona, but was released by Barcelona. And I think he looks a good player on either wing. Can certainly be a backup player at least. I know he's listed for loan, but if we don't get any interest, then he might well be our second choice at left wing, right wing. He can even play up front, so a good versatile player to come into the squad. So this really sets up with his tactic for the season. Now, there's a few changes in here which I just want to discuss quickly. Dolberg is a player that's not in there because he isn't quite match fit yet. He's lacking match sharpness, so he won't be starting today's match. In normal circumstances, we'd have Dolberg there instead of Cole Palmer, but Cole Palmer is a very good second choice. We've got Hugo Sousa in goal. Fernandez and Gravelon are back two at centre-back, so no change there. But our first choice right-back from this year is going to be Aimable and Dueo. Went out on loan to Angers last year. He looks a good, solid right-back. We have got Gravelon who can play right-back, but Aimable is our second-best right-back. And I think he's a player that now, at the age of 19, can come into the first-team squad. And ideally, I was looking at bringing this man, Raul João, into the first-team squad as well to play at left-back. Obviously, we've lost Sessegnon, so the next best choice is either Raul João or Miloro Ristic, who is playing today against AS Monaco. Two reasons why I haven't picked João today. Again, it's a big game, don't really want to take the risk with him. And B, he's not match fit, so that kind of solves that issue. Again, the central midfielders are the same, they play well. We've got Sakaria and Coman on the two wings, and we've got Angulo up front. So we've got Mofi and Deji Satona, our two strikers, on the bench. We've also got Alexandre Parsaman, who now is a fringe player, again, someone who can come into the squad. He's not going to be the best player in the world, I don't think, in terms of current and potential ability. But again, he's another solid striker who certainly could be a second or third choice for us. I'm just looking there that Florian or Coman isn't brilliantly match sharp, but oh well. I don't think there's anything else to show you particularly from pre-season. Not a lot other things have happened. In terms of the club vision of what we want to do this year, the club again want us to qualify for the UEFA controversial, the UEFA Europa Conference League by finishing 6th. I would like to go one more than that, I really would. We've also got, by the way, our stadium expansion in progress. I think we're doing a 6,000 seat expansion, so that'll be done in January. We'll see what that looks like when we play Toulouse later on in the episode. But I would like to do better than that this year. I would like to finish 4th or 3rd. But we'll see how we go. Again, it's the start of a new season. I know we haven't invested massively, but I don't think we need to. I just think that we need a bit of luck. We need a good run of form. We can't really afford to slip up. So, let's go and play AS Monaco in the first game of the season. I've showed you the team. Let's get into it. This is my first video on the game since the new update. There's a few nitpicky different features, but nothing massive. Some interesting names in that AS Monaco squad. Definson Sanchez, João Riedewald, interesting. Harry Wilson, former Liverpool player, that's brilliant. They've got Eric Bailly on the bench. Brian Gilles, I feel like I recognise Golovin from somewhere else as well. But Monaco are going to be a tough team to beat. They definitely are. So if we can get a point out of these, I'll be quite happy. But I'm going to pump fists. I'm going to say to the lads I expect to win. I'm going to be optimistic. And that's what we've got to be. We can't really go, well, you know, whatever. But ultimately, it's a derby. So anything can happen in a derby. They're playing a 4-2-3-1 formation. Exactly the same as us. In terms of the head-to-head, it's just showed at the bottom. Apparently, they are 7-4 ahead to us. And hopefully, what would be brilliant is if, but to be honest, anybody, but mainly Brian Angulo, gets a hat-trick to start off his Nice career. That would be absolutely excellent. But we've had some interesting transfer offers in the summer. We had a 30 million transfer bid for Sakaria, which blows my mind really, because of course we paid nothing for him when we signed him on a free transfer from AZ, and now he's maybe worth 30 million. That would be an incredible return, but I'm not ready to see him leave yet, although I think if Feyenoord come calling as a Dutch player, it might be tricky to keep him away from that. But I thought that might have been an early chance for us 3 minutes in here. It's now Monaco on the ball. It would really go in tatters, wouldn't it, if we concede an early goal here. But luckily, it's not so much like the English League. We have got the transfer window that's still open until the end of August, so we can make some changes if we need to. Very nearly an early goal there for Harry Wilson. Another player who's had some interest in the summer and very nearly left was our keeper, Hugo Sousa. Milan have put several bids in of 25 million. I've just ignored them because I don't want him to go, obviously. But if he does want to go at some point, then he does. He wants to go to Southampton, but that never really materialised. Let's have a look at this, though. A lovely ball from the aforementioned man. And the two players who had some transfer interest link up brilliantly. And Sakaria Abubakal, or however the hell you pronounce that, because I always go for Sakaria. Sakaria, hopefully, will continue exactly what he did at the start of last season, because the second half of Sakaria's campaign last time out was just riddled with injury. But he started off really well. And hopefully he can do that again. A lovely clearance from Hugo Sousa. I wouldn't have expected him to have got the first assist of the season. But a cracking finish from Sakaria. We are going to get counter-attacking now. We were already unbalanced. But yeah, we will sit back a bit here. We might be made to regret that. Let's see. Harry Wilson making all the play at the moment. But a great tackle there from Andrew Gravelon. Can we make anything of this chance? Gravelon puts the ball out. But that's poor really. Straight back to Monaco. Brian Gilles. Good marking from the right back, but good stuff from Endo. I mean, he's on a yellow card already, which worries me a little bit. But a lot of highlights to start this off, and I do fear that because we are sitting back a bit, I could be wrong, but it could well be a goal for Monaco. We're going to go back to balanced here, because I think we are letting them in a bit too much on the cautious mentality. But Brian N'Golo, Brian nearly gets his first goal for Nice. And I'll tell you what's encouraging here. I've had a quick look at the stats between highlights, and the stats aren't going for us. Definitely not. But we're taking our chances at the end of the day. We could have been 2-0 up there. Let's see though. Maslov on the wing puts it in to Brian Gilles. It's one each. Thought it might have been. Thought it might have been. We've been under the cosh here, definitely. Again, it's not nice to start away from home. Let's see what happens here. Again, I'd take a point against Monaco, but it's a funny old game, isn't it, this is? We're coming back into the game, I'd say, a bit more now. 55% of possession for them. Now it's 58. They're getting back into the game in terms of their possession being dominant. Can we make anything off this corner? Coman. Coman lost the ball. He's done that twice now. Jorge Fernandez. This looks poor. Really looks poor at the back. We're being let in far too much, and Fernandez has given away a foul. That's not great. That's not great at all. It might not be a foul, but I have a feeling VAR is going to give this one. Yep, VAR says it's a penalty. So we went 1-0 up. We could be 2-1 down. And there's nothing that anybody wants less than to lose the first game of the season. But Harry Wilson misses the penalty. I feel like that is a get out of jail free for us. I'm going to start to push forward because clearly I think that going for this balanced or counter-attacking mentality here is letting them in a bit too much. If we try and push forward, we get rid of that. And the best form of attack is defence. And I suppose it works both ways as well, doesn't it? XG a lot lower than Monaco, so that's a worry. But we do get it going at the break halfway. And I'm going to say to the lads, I'm not happy with the performance. Again, we want to strive to do more here. We shouldn't really be going, well, we got away with it. Great, well done, lads. No, it wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough. We need to get into the game in this second half. But a minute in here, and that's not really what's happening. Brian Gilles, very nearly makes it 2-1 to Monaco. I feel like that's the way it's going to go, unless there's a surprise here. But we could have an attack. It's short-lived. It feels like we are, and this isn't in the tactics, so I don't know why this is happening, but it feels like we're just hoofing the ball up and losing it. Again, the passing isn't that direct in the tactic. I don't really know why that's happening, but we'll see. Mokaina puts the ball out. But again, Monaco are controlling this. They are controlling this easily. But Coman puts a good tackle in there. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. We're just inviting way too much pressure. I'm going to change this now. I don't particularly know how we do this, particularly. I said particularly twice. How do we get them not to boot the ball out at the back? Suppose we push some of these players back a bit so that we get the ball out a bit easier and to someone rather than hoofing it to Monaco. Yeah, I suppose play out of defence is going to work a bit better. We'll go back to balance for now. I feel like the damage might already be done though here. I feel like Monaco are going to get a goal out of this. Are they? Ristic puts the ball out, but again, it's just relentless pressure, and I think we've got quite a good defence, but the defence can't take this amount of pressure. It's just ridiculous. Jairo Riedewald to Brian Gill. It's going to be 2-1 this. Brian Gill, that's shocking. That is awful. Not so much from the keeper. There's not a lot he could have done there, but hopefully things start to change now in this match. But I feel like it's a little bit trying to close the door after the horse has bolted, in fact, trying to close the stable door after the horse has buggered off. But I'm not going to worry too much just yet. Monaco are a very good team, ultimately. And I am starting to think more and more now we've got a bit of a problem with Nice, because we have joined this club and we've got to do something special with Nice, or else we're not really going to get a top job, are we? That's going to be the problem. If we don't do much with Nice, then what is a top club going to be convinced by to appoint us? Because I don't want to say so, but there's an increasing feeling that I don't think we're going to win the league here. We've got a good set of players, but it just isn't quite happening, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get a draw out of this. Hopefully we can get a point out of this. It's not looking likely. We've not really made much today. We've been very much second rate, the second team. And the only real thing that's changed is the striker, so we can't even really excuse players gelling in together. I don't know. We lost Sessegnon over the summer. That's the only big loss. I can't imagine him having much of a difference, but a good save there from Sousa. We just need to get on with it a bit more now. Sousa puts it... I mean, I'd be interested to know what our pass completion rate is today. It's got to be awful, because every time we can't string two passes together. And that is exactly why Monaco are getting the chances they are. Sakaria, though, goes on the run. Can he save us again? Puts it out to Dedi Satona, doesn't really do anything. Again, we can't string two passes together. It was only one between the defender and Sakaria, and just wasn't good enough. Guess we bring Mofi on for 10 minutes, don't we? See what he can do. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like N'Golo's had the best start to his career, but again, it's only been one match. I wouldn't worry too much. But it looks like we are going to start our campaign here with a well-deserved defeat. It's not really the way I wanted to start, but only a narrow one, I guess. It's I'm not happy with the lads. Wayne Rooney reckons we ought to go, well, we ought to say good effort. No, nonsense. Nonsense, but not the worst thing in the world, as long as we go and beat Toulouse in the next match. Well, it's a relegation 6-pointer, isn't it? It's only the second game in, but obviously both of the teams lost their first game of the season. Toulouse give us a tough game at the back end of last year. They had a 0-0 draw with us, so hopefully we score a few more than that today. Dolberg and Satona are both back in the team. Obviously, Coman and Cole Palmer miss out. Apart from that, there's no other change. Let's pump our fists, so we're favourites for a reason, and hopefully we can record our first 3 points of the season today. I'll show you what the league table looks like and how the other games have gone after this match, because again, it's still early days. I don't really think there's much point reviewing what's happened. There's just a bit of nice news that Lyon got absolutely thumped in their last match, which again is very good news for us, because we do play against them next, so hopefully that will have irked them a little bit. But let's see if we can win this one against Toulouse. Again, it's not a match that we're necessarily guaranteed to win, and if we're not careful, we could start off the campaign with 2 defeats, and we're doing exactly the same again. We've just pumping the ball out from the back, so we're going to play out defence, work the ball into the box, try all that sort of stuff, because I do not get why this is happening, because it certainly didn't happen last year, and it's evident even in this one highlight that that's just lost us possession again. So Said on the ball for Toulouse here. Dolberg gets it back, that's good, puts it out to Dedi Satona. Can he make something work? Hopefully he can recover his form he had last year, but Satona gets a penalty according to that. I mean, Satona didn't even go down, but apparently that was a foul. I do worry, because Satona didn't go down, that maybe it's not a penalty. Let's see. It is. It's a penalty. Well, I won't complain about that. And the man taking it should be Brian Angulo. Can he get his first goal for Nice? He steps up and he scores. Brian Angulo. Angulo even, not Angulu. Angulo gets his first goal for Nice. Hopefully the first of many. But he gets off the mark from the spot. I think that'll be a bit of nerves took from him now. Obviously, it's our first home game of the year, which will definitely help things out. I don't think home and away particularly has that much of a difference these days, certainly compared to back in the day. But I suppose during COVID, certainly. But I guess in game, not so much. But yeah, we've had a very good first half. 12 shots, 13 now, 7 on target. Toulouse haven't had an attempt whatsoever yet. And we're looking control here. Again, if we only win 1-0, I'm not particularly bothered. Just on the edge of half-time, Toulouse do get their first shot, albeit not on target, but we're looking pretty good. Let's see if that continues. 18 shots. It might be a good defensive performance here from Toulouse. You just don't know, because we've not seen a lot. They've got 4 at the back with 1 defensive midfield, which suggests they're probably set up to get a draw. But if we can make it 2-0 down now, that would probably secure our first 3 points of the season. Chalobah with a ball across to Satona. Back to Ristic. Ristic into the box. Sakaria makes it 2 in as many games. And you would think, hopefully if we don't repeat some of the stupid wrongs from last year, far too often last year we went 2-0 up and ended up either drawing 2 each or actually losing the match. So hopefully if we don't repeat that stupidity, we should have our first 3 points of the season. A good goal there from Sakaria. And good to see that he's kicked off last year in the way that he started the previous season. We'll make a few subs now. We can rest a few players here, I think. We'll rest Dahlberg because he's struggling a little bit here. We'll also probably bring Sakaria off, actually. And we'll bring... Where are we going to put there? We'll put Angulo there. We'll see how he gets on in central attacking midfield. Again, it's just another position. And we'll bring Mofi on there. And we'll also give Ristic a rest and give Raul Zhao a chance to see what he can do. Again, I don't think there's really much risk. 22 shots, 9 on target. We have dominated Toulouse today. So this is just the performance we needed after the previous match. I was a bit worried, to be honest, but okay, we're a better side than Toulouse. I appreciate that, but at least we know we've got it in our armour that we can go and play teams like this off the park. And fingers crossed in the last few minutes here, get a clean sheet and make it comfortably our first 3 points of the season. That's exactly what it's going to be. A very quick game. No mucking about. Again, 3 points, that's exactly what we needed. I saw some good stuff out there. That was satisfying. So, when are we going to come back? I'll show you the league table just quickly. I did say Lyon did lose their match against Marseille, which is always nice to see, as we're playing in the next match. But Saint-Etienne have lost as well. The only 4 clubs on 100% records are Marseille, Monaco, Nantes and Lille. Le Havre could make it, so they've got Stade Rennais next, so that's possible. But Monaco have got PSG in the next match. So again, early days, I wouldn't look at that too much. I'm going to come back, I think. Skip this period. I'm not really too fussed about it. We'll come back, I think, for the game against Lille. And then the game against Chamois Niortais. Because they are a team that, again, are a bit of a unknown quantity. Apart from in 2022, they've not been in Ligue 1 in recent history. So, who knows? We might put 5 past them. They might get a point against us. But if you enjoyed the first episode of the new season, please leave a like down below, comment your thoughts as well, and subscribe for regular Football Manager 2021 content on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and a Sunday at 6 PM. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.